Have you ever had a minor setback, like a tiny criticism from a boss, ruin your entire week? That disproportionate reaction is driven by a silent assumption, a hidden, rigid rule you hold about your own self-worth. In the next 5 minutes, we will drag that assumption into the light and dismantle it using 3 specific written exercises. To follow along, you'll need a pen, 3 blank sheets of paper, and a recent memory of a situation that made you overly anxious or upset. Identifying this rule gives you the leverage needed to loosen the pressure of an emotional straitjacket. First, we need to find the core belief driving your reaction. We will use the vertical arrow technique to track a surface-level negative thought down to its root. On your first sheet of paper, write down the specific thought that upset you at the top. Then draw a small, downward-pointing arrow right underneath it. That arrow represents a specific question you must ask yourself. If this thought were true, why would it be upsetting to me? This flowchart shows how the process works. Answering that question leads you to a second negative thought, like, I may fail the course, and another arrow. By repeating this process and asking why each new thought is upsetting, you eventually hit a wall. You uncover a core rule about your worth, like, I need people's approval to feel happy and to be worthwhile. This list displays 10 common self-defeating attitudes. If you get stuck drawing your arrows, scan through these. You might recognize a demand for constant perfection or a belief that you must always please others. This mapping connects your immediate distress to the underlying rule, proving that the boss's criticism is just a trigger for an impossible internal demand. Now that you have the rule written down, we can evaluate it using step 1, the cost-benefit analysis. This is a blank cost-benefit analysis chart. On your second sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle. Label the left column advantages and the right column disadvantages. List the advantages first. All beliefs serve some function. For example, a demand for success might drive you to work harder. Next, list the disadvantages. Include the anxiety, the fear of failure, and the exhaustion. Comparing these columns makes it clear that the security you think this assumption provides comes at a price your well-being cannot actually afford. At the bottom of the page, draft a revised attitude. This is an updated version of your belief based on the evidence you just mapped out. Putting the emotional cost in writing removes the sense that this silent assumption is actually helping you. Step 2 is testing your belief in reality. We are going to treat your assumption like a scientific hypothesis. To run the experiment, schedule a mundane task and predict how satisfying it will be. Then, complete the task with only average effort and record your actual satisfaction level. This table is the pleasure-perfection balance sheet, showing a real test conducted by someone struggling with perfectionism. Notice the top row. This person rated his performance at fixing a broken pipe at 20% because he made mistakes, but his actual satisfaction was 99% because he completed the job. This data shows that high satisfaction is possible even when performance is low, invalidating the claim that perfection is a requirement for happiness. Step 3 is the feared fantasy technique, where you confront your absolute worst-case scenario. On your third sheet of paper, write a short dialogue. Imagine a person rejecting you for the specific flaw you are most afraid of exposing. Write your imaginary critic's dialogue to be comically cruel and mean. Then, write out your own calm, assertive response to those insults. When you map out the conversation in a script, the critic's arguments look completely ridiculous. Confronting your fear on paper proves that no real person talks the way your inner critic does, and even if they did, you are capable of handling it. Look at the 3 sheets of paper in front of you. You have pinpointed your hidden rule, examined its costs, tested it against reality, and faced down the worst-case scenario. These results allow you to choose a different value system, one where your worth doesn't have to be earned through constant success, but is something you carry regardless of the outcome. Keep these papers. The next time a painful mood swing hits, pull out a fresh sheet and draw that downward arrow again. Repeatedly exposing these silent assumptions makes them less automatic, giving you the distance needed to respond to setbacks with clarity rather than despair.